I'm happy to introduce as the first speaker Francisco Javier Gomez, who is the co-founder of PayThunder, which is a software and hardware solution on payment services, and which has been selected as one of the 12 best technological companies in Spain in 2014, and is also in the Google Accelerator program selection for 2016. So with that introduction, Fran, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Here we go! Ale, ale, ale! Go, go, go! Ale, ale, ale! Okay, I'm going to speak about the next local gold mine, okay, related with mobile phone payments. I'm going to talk about it. Do you understand this? No. No one speak Gaelic? It's not Gaelic. It's Elfic. Okay, so just listen what we have to talk about. So can you press?
The world is changed. I feel it in the water. I feel it in the earth. I smell it in the air. Much that once was is lost, for none now live who remember it.
My pitch will be about it. Maybe you can see the difference. I am sure that 90% of the people here is not able to see what I am seeing this right now. Can you see that, the difference? Yes. This is me, and this is my next girlfriend, you know? This is the innovations. Okay, it is the election of the Pope Ratzinger in 2005. And the election of Pope Francisco in 2013. I think there is nothing more to say. I mean, you can see the difference. But what is the real difference? The real difference is that in this turning rate, in this place, internet is in your pocket. And it is the origin of the online and offline world's union. And the gold is there. Just a key data. In 2019, the 90% of the payments in the world will be done by means of mobile phones. In 2020, it's over $30 trillion business. But there is a big mistake in the payments world, because everybody's just focused themselves in payments, and you have a computer in your pocket, so why don't you take advantage of it? And if you see the business models right now that will disappear, like this, leaflets, hand-to-hand leaflets, promotions, etc. Can you ask to yourself, can it be better with technology? Just think about one thing. When you deliver a leaflet, do you know how many people receive it? Do you know how many people interact with it? Do you know how many people goes to the shop? Do you know how many people buy? Is people able to buy when they receive the leaflet? No. With a payment solution linked to the mobile phone, you can do that. We are doing that. Just a little words about it, just to understand how the business is changing. Technologies like blockchain, used by many companies right now, are going to change all the physical models. And now in Spain, for example, many banks are closing their offices. Banco Santander reduced their staff in a 40%. Companies like Caixa says that only an 8% of people goes to the bank office. The 92% of the transactions are outside of the office. So it means that the business model is changing. The business itself is there, but the model is changing. And we have to adapt ourselves. Just have a look on it. It's just a little introduction about what it comes. The sound? Well, anyway, you can see it.
Good evening, John. You can move the old-fashioned John Anderton. Century 21 Stands provides gourmet cuisine. John Anderton. You can use a Guinness right about now. Stressed out, John Anderton.
This week done it all, Harrison. Get away, John Anderton. Forget your troubles.
What's slow, John Anderton?
Hello, Mr. Yakamoto. Welcome back to the Gap. How those assorted tank tops work out for you?
Okay. Think about it. Think about an hologram, an interactive hologram that is able to recognize you, and also sending an offer to you in the mobile phone, and you do that, and you pay. It is quick, it is easy, it is friendly, it is personalized, it is funny. Some companies in the world are able to do such things nowadays. I will show you a video. It is in Spanish, okay? So don't if you don't understand anything, just tell it to me. But have a look on it. There are no actors here, okay? Just watch the people reactions.
Pay Thunder es una aplicación móvil en la que vas a poder recibir ofertas, promociones y descuentos exclusivos para ti. No tienes que hacer nada, basta con que vayas andando por la calle y recibirás esas ofertas en tu propio móvil.
Hola, soy Lida y quiero presentarte The Future of Mobile. ¿Te gustaría poder recibir ofertas exclusivas en el momento preciso para poder canjearlas? Y comprar entradas sin esperar colas.
Podrás pagar en los comercios adheridos usando tus tarjetas virtualizadas en el móvil. Disfruta de experiencia shopping con Pay Thunder.
Okay, so it is real. One more thing. Imagine that you are in Chelsea Stadium, you are watching the TV, and your friend is going into the Chelsea Stadium. Your friend doesn't want to wait for the queues, he just wants to go and enter. So he has his mobile phone, he looks for Chelsea Stadium, there's the ticket, he pays, he has the ticket, he goes inside. He don't have to wait. Okay? Myself, I'm watching the TV, and there is a fall in the area, okay? And I would like to say that just talking about the gold mine, what's about if you can be interactive with the TV shows? You can interact with the TV shows. Is it possible? Of course, it is. So you can bet there is a penalty. You can bet it is going to be shot on the right, on the left, wherever you want. You do that with your mobile phone, and you pay. And if you win the bet, you get money. If you lose, you lose it, okay? So one more thing related with marketing and payments, the gold mine, under my opinion. Okay. just a little presentation about us. Well, we are hackers. We are specialists in payments, and we draw job at the people in Silicon Valley 2 years ago. Now we will come back next year, and we are specialists in hacking payment solutions and in technology. We are freaks with vision, and well, wherever we go, we open the mouth to everybody, just showing what we do. And I hope you will see us in the next coming years like a new Google or like as a new Apple, as very soon, because we are having success with our business, and we are doing such different things that we really think that it's gonna happen in the coming future. Okay, so that's all. Thank you so much. And if you have any question, just feel free to ask me.
Yeah, we're probably going to do the questions after Stefan's presentation, or
No
so if you want to
problem.
stay. Yeah, if you want to stay here, yeah. And then, so that it's also my pleasure to introduce Stefan Acquaroni, who is the co-founder of Droplet. So you're a UK entrepreneur with film producer and co-founder of Droplet, which basically is an app that lets you play in your favorite places hands-free. So I think you have some partnership with some of the big libraries and bookshops in the UK. I'll let you do your speech yourself, please.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. This is a very strange venue, isn't it? Because there's a pillar right down the middle of the thing. This is very odd. So I'm going to sort of address half my talk to this side of the room, the other half to this side of the room, and then we'll vote and see which half is better. How does that sound?
We can bet with France.
Oh yeah, okay, if you really want to do that, we could, exactly, brilliant. Okay, right, so here goes. Here's my talk. I've got some thoughts. I'm going to try and share with you one story, one or two surprises, and a couple of takeaways, lessons that maybe are relevant to whatever you're working on. I know that this audience is pretty diverse, both in terms of where you're from and what you're doing. But we've got one thing in common, which is about localism. And this is the bit that I'm trying to hopefully link this all together with. Let's see how it goes. So the story starts in Birmingham. If you're from the States, Birmingham is like the Detroit of the UK. If you're from the UK, Birmingham is like the crater that the last major asteroid left behind. But it's our hometown, and we're proud of it. And in Birmingham are such modern luxuries as coffee shops. And in one of these coffee shops, my co-founder, Will, and I were sitting. And we were thinking to ourselves, what's next? What is the web going to change next? When I say change, I mean disrupt in a big way. We'd seen it happen to things like mobile telecommunications. We'd seen it happen to home entertainment, boxed non-perishable retail. Even perishable retail is starting to really feel the pressure of the web business model. And we thought, let's choose banking and finance. That's bound to get some proper disruption sometime soon. Of course, 5 years later, it's not. But things are changing very, very slowly in banking and finance. And rather than trying to build a new type of bank, we decided we'd take on one small part of the picture, and that is payments. So we made a payment system that tried to do to payments what Skype did to phone calls, and make the thing that we used to pay for by the yard fee-free. So Droplet is completely transaction fee-free. There's no fees when you're a business when you use Droplet to take payments from your customers. And that's pretty different because even cash costs money to take in and put out of the bank, whereas Droplet's completely fee-free. So we knew that this was a problem because the business we were in, we knew the guy that ran this coffee shop, and we knew that he was paying more for the payment for a cup of coffee than he was for the coffee to go in the cup. And this was ridiculous. And this was a long time ago. This was back in 2011 we had this idea. And what's happened since is our journey towards doing something actually much more interesting. We always knew right at the beginning that payments wasn't really going to be the thing that was going to make us the money or get anyone really interested. We knew that the interesting part about mobile payments was what we could do with data. And that's what our story is all about. And that's why what Droplet is now is an app that lets you, the customer, do two things with one button. And that makes the payment experience with Droplet easier and more convenient and more human than any combination of Apple Pay, contactless, plastic loyalty cards, or those little bits of stamped paper that we've all still got in our wallets, I'm sure. And I'll show you a quick video just to show you what this actually means, just to explain the concept. It's only 90 seconds, but hopefully it'll be a good investment in time to make the whole concept make sense to you.
Who'd have thought we'd end up with such power in our pockets? Smartphones have entered our lives in ways we never expected, and smart people are using their phones to do more of the things they love and make life run that little bit more smoothly. Droplet is a mobile payments app that does just that. It's easy to get started. Just add a payment card and you're ready to go. The first time you spend in a place, you'll need to tap Pay Here so your favourite merchants can charge you. After that, you'll simply get a push notification of how much you've spent. No more fumbling, scanning, swiping or tapping. Just pay and enjoy. You can also collect loyalty stamps as you go. No need to carry around lots of different cards. You can see where your next reward is coming from, right there on your phone. We started Droplet because we believed we could use the power of the web to transform the world of payments. It's secure, simple, and unlike every other payment system in the world, Droplet is completely transaction fee-free for everyone. Our friendly ambassadors are helping take Droplet out across the country. Download the app now to see what they're so excited about. And if you're a business, just visit our website to join up. Droplet, powering a quiet revolution at the corner of your street.
So that's what it is, and that's a bit about the story. But what are the lessons, and what's relevant to this conference about localism and local community and communicating with people through local communities? I think we learned more about the way that marketing and operations has worked in the last 2 years than we have even about the technology behind our product. I reckon it's 30-70, 30% technology, 70% marketing, operations, communications. And one of the things that we've learned is that it is extremely difficult to roll out a tech product in the real world. Building anything is difficult, but building a tech product for technologists is quite a lot easier than it is building a product for normal people in the real world. And the way that we grow our business is merchant-led, so we sign up merchants and they get their customers to join the loyalty program. But getting those merchants to join something new is also pretty hard. And we tried a lot of heavy investment in marketing. We tried a traditional field sales approach. And the lesson that we came away with was that to sell something new, you have to sell it in a different way. And those ambassadors that you saw in purple, here are two of them in Norwich, which is actually my hometown, personally, right at the very beginning and now again as of about a year and a half ago. So Chris and Emma are our ambassadors, and their job is not just to sell the product. They do have responsibility for selling the product. Their job is to start by identifying the community, going to the very heart of the independent part of the business district in a new city where Droplet has no presence, no reputation, no contacts, no customers, and building relationships. And right at the start, those relationships have to be predicated on something much more long-term than whether you want to buy a product or not. They have to involve, obviously, all the good sales practice that we're taught in sales school about understanding the person's problems and working out how your product can fit and solve those problems. But more importantly, it's about establishing ourselves in a community for the long term. And that's pretty difficult to do when you're a fast-paced software business, but it's really important to do if you want to be able to grow your business. And so the very first thing that our ambassadors do is they identify those movers and shakers in the heart of the community, people who are going to be prepared to share our product with their customers. And they sign up maybe 3 or 4 of those businesses right in the heart of the community in the first few months. The interesting thing is that once they've then worked hard to ensure that Droplet's a success for those businesses, then word spreads. Then we get another 20 or 30 joining in the next 3 months. And now in Norwich we have 175 merchants and 160 taxis. And most of that further growth has been as a result of referral, recommendation. How word spreads, because even though we're in a global, digitally connected world, word of mouth still happens predominantly in the real world. And I think people forget that at their peril. They forget it when they come to thinking about marketing as well. And when we were growing our product, one of the key milestones is when we hit 100 merchants, we start to invest directly in user growth. The main route for user growth is the merchants telling their customers. When we hit a certain level, we start to invest in user growth. And we did our first test campaign in Norwich when we hit 100 merchants. What we found was extremely interesting. So here's what we did. We did home delivery of leaflets, printed leaflets about an app that you put on your phone. These were the most effective converters of new users across the whole campaign, with the exception of the free BBC TV PR coverage we got. These were the single most effective channel, both in terms of quantum and cost of acquisition. And if you can relate it to a human experience, that probably makes sense. Responding to an app ad on your phone when you're on Facebook trying to find something else is a bit of a tough call, whereas if you've just got home and you're pulling the stack of leaflets out of the letterbox behind the door, and something in front of you says, get a free £5 for downloading this app, and you sit on front of the TV and you start to relax for the day, it makes sense, doesn't it, that you would start to browse around, maybe discover a new thing. And I would really urge you, the most important lesson we've learned about our marketing is that the offline channels are still extremely powerful. Unfortunately, the print advertising was a disaster. It indexed very much at the bottom, the most expensive cost of acquisition for us. We were very careful in attributing our acquisitions so that we knew where they'd come from, but we knew that just on engagement alone, it wasn't moving the dial. Now, was it a part of the overall brand campaign? Absolutely. And if we had a load of money, we would obviously be spending in traditional display media. But I wouldn't be spending precious startup budget on display media. I'd be spending it on print leaflet advertising if I'm reading these stats and taking anything away from them. Equally useless was social media advertising, a complete and utter waste of money. If you don't believe me, read Private Eye, and every 2 weeks you will be told quite how repulsively the advertising industry is ripping off clients by overstating the ROI of digital investment. Now, I'm saying that quite callously, but I've been here time and time again. Yes, it's valuable. Yes, it's an important part of a brand campaign when you've got 10 million quid, but it ain't going to help you sign up 2,000 users. And it certainly didn't help us sign up 2,000 users. Much more effective was our street campaign. If you're trying to get people to do a new thing in a new way, and you're really invested in helping hold their hands the way through the process, then nothing could be better than being there in person. It's expensive, but it's essential to get the ball rolling at the very beginning. And by far the most effective strategy, aside from the leaflets in the letterbox and the PR, was merchants, what they were doing as part of the whole story, as part of the campaign. As a result, this is what happened to our user growth in those periods of investment. So this is a chart that shows daily installs in the graph on the left and total installs in the graph on the right. The two dark yellow patches are during the campaign investment. And you can see the spikes of the daily installs totals showing a peak and then a gradual long tail effect of both parts of the campaign investment that we undertook. The overall results was that we put 20% on our user numbers, 2,000 new user installs in a 3-week period. And for us, that far indexed below our target cost of acquisition for new users. So the lessons of that journey are about the role of traditional media in a digital world. And the fact that if you are still thinking about offline media and online media as separate things, you're probably missing the point. And the simple reason for that is that while we're still human, while we still exist in the real world and we're not brains in vats, we still experience as individuals the same brand through different eyes, whether we're looking on a screen or something printed in front of us. So it's really important to think about those things all together. And the very last thing I want to share with you in the last couple of seconds is lesson 3 from our journey. We have concluded, and you may find this quite amusing, that scaling a real-world technology product is extremely expensive. We've seen in the last few years the levels to which Uber and Deliveroo have had to raise funds just to get their product out into a few new countries. And if you're going to grow a tech product in the real world, you need 200 million quid of investment, absolute minimum. I guarantee it. Nothing in the real world will work in the way that the viral social network emergence happened, or even the acquisition model of a company like Netflix. Nothing is as difficult to getting something working in the real world, but we know the size of the prize is huge. We know the size of the prize is worth fighting for. So how are we doing this? Well, we're not just trying to raise money by going out and getting 200 million quid's worth of funding. That's just one option. We're doing it through partnership. This is what I'm interested in here, talking to people afterwards about how we might be able to work together. On the ground, we've got ambassadors in cities signing up merchants. We're also doing a number of commercial partnerships since the beginning of this year with till companies or other suppliers that have got large networks of customers already in the bricks and mortar retail sector. But as of this month, we started to enter into a more strategic partnership way of working. So we're talking with a number of big card companies, card schemes, card issuers, banks, and other larger strategic partners, including media partners in the traditional as well as emerging digital media sectors. about how we can work together to bring our product, which we know is working in a really small scale, out to their huge audiences. And if you work in media right now, you'll know how important it is to think about how you can bring new digital products to your existing large market. And as part of that, of course, strategic investment, our next seed round, but I'm not here to pitch to you the investment opportunity. I'm here to hopefully tell you a story and say a few things about what we've learned along the way. And on that note, I should probably stop in case anyone's got questions. You're all still here, that's good. I've not heard any loud phone calls, that's even better. And if you don't get a chance to talk to me later, here are the Twitter handles. Thanks for your time.
Stephanie, yeah. So I don't know if anyone has any questions. If you want to stay, yeah, you can. Whatever. I mean, if I really like what I found really challenging is that it's really cool to hear somebody saying that offline media is not dead, because this is something that we very often hear during our conferences, and the way you seeing the possibility to leverage that with the leaflets or with whatever print advertising for the very local people, both the users and the retailers, is I think very interesting. But this is, I don't know if anyone has any question relating to that or.
For both of you, are you willing to white label with exclusivity for a certain non-European country? First question. Question number 2 is how do you both of you intend to finance your where the money is going to come from? Okay.
Hi. Is on? Yeah. Okay. Our business strategy, international business strategy, is basically like this one. We have one partner per country. For example, we have now offices in Mexico and in Panama, and we just look for a partner. And the business is just focusing white labels for banks, basically, and also marketing modules for big merchants. So yes, the question is yes. It is the way we are working right now. White labeling for banks, and also we have something very interesting, is that we can integrate our technology inside third apps. Imagine McDonald's. McDonald's wants that when someone is near McDonald's, we receive an offer with our technology, okay, with our patented worldwide technology. We are 700% more efficient than Apple, for example, sending ads by geofencing. We can integrate the module inside McDonald's apps, so we don't need to create the ecosystem of users. If McDonald's has 10 million users, okay, you have the users, we have the technology, we link it, we have the SDK, and you work. So that's quite simple. So in our case, yeah, we work this model, white label, and also integrations inside third apps.
And finance, or you go one by one? No, the second question is how you intend to finance your business? Where financing meaning where? How do you make money? How do you make money?
Okay. We don't make money. No. It's just so we just cash a cost per merchant. Okay, for banks, for example, if the bank is using our technology, we catch an amount per merchant, but we don't interfere in their business model. I mean, they have their commissions, they have their whatever, and we just give them the tool to let the merchant sell more. Finally, what we have is a tool that let the merchants selling more. So it is quite interesting for the banks because they want to take the merchants, to keep their own merchants and to take the ones from the competition. So we help them to do that. It is, imagine Amazon. Okay, we are like Amazon, but Amazon, you order something and in 24 hours you have it at home. In our case, you are on the street, you see something that is interesting, and in 10 seconds you have it. You can also pay in this moment. So it's a totally different business model. Amazon is very good in internet. We are very good in internet and also in the real world.
Yes is the short answer, with the exception of India, where we have an exclusive project already underway. Second question, we are venture capital financed Obviously, entering to the next round, we're again looking for venture capital. And our revenue model, which I completely forgot to talk about because it's not a VC pitch, is we charge a monthly software as a service fee to merchants for the loyalty program. The payments are inclusive. It's kind of like when you stopped paying per minute for your mobile phone and you started paying per month instead. You're probably paying more than you were before. Now you're getting data, internet, limitless calls, all for a monthly price. That's what we're giving to our merchants. Loyalty, data, communication back to their customers through the app, and payments, all unlimited, but for a monthly software as a service fee.
Freemium.
No freemium. We charge every merchant. So it's never free. No, they're always paying us a minimum of £50 per site per month, but it goes up depending on how big they are. Cool.
Yeah, last question.
So aren't you paying to process the payment? Because at some point, if it's a highly successful merchant, I mean, I'm sure you've done the business model, but I mean, I'm just trying to understand how you've got to the economics.
Yeah, so long term, we think that payments will become fee-free. We think that a bank will release a payment API or something that will be literally fee-free to process. In the meantime, we are incurring a small cost, but it's not linked to merchant revenue, it's linked to active users. And that's because we batch all of our customers' payments together and we only charge them once every few days, just like iTunes. Just like when you get an iTunes statement, you've got several things that you've bought, but they've only charged your card once. We've built right down the payment stack to reduce the cost. We pay a small fixed cost per card charge, and we're doing that maybe once or twice a week per active user. So it limits our total exposure and it links to user growth, not merchants. I could show you the model. It's intriguing, but it's working.
Wow. I think I have to thank you, gentlemen, for this very interesting session. And you're going to be around, so if anybody has any special questions, then feel free to go directly to these guys. And a round of applause to these two persons.